Bing bongy bong, bing bongy bong. Welcome to Bud Mouse. This is Joe, the bearded historian. He'll tell you an interesting history. Be careful of his soldiers, they can be brats. This is Angel, she's an entity. She'll cause chaos and plant her hands at you. This is Sue, she likes spirits, not the alcohol. She's the reason this channel exists. This is David, he likes fire trucks. He's here occasionally. Bing bongy bong, bing bongy bong, bing bongy bong. We preserve his story.
Welcome to Wednesday and a video just for you. Are you ready? This video is about a person many of you may be familiar with. Hopefully you've at least heard of. Are you ready? Our race is a reindeer race because we got a little bit of snow and it's almost Christmas. And I am doing Christmassy races while I can. Here we go. Shout out time. Here's a shout out just for you. You support me, so I support you. This shout out is for our friends. Let's see who it is today. Set. Okay. And then start. Come on. Alright, so there's She Stole. I see Northern. There's Griselda. There's Baba. There's Chris. Hiking Ontario. Sylvia. Haven. Bluegrass. There's JB. There's Rye. Let's see, there's Judy May. There's Crazy. There's Ian. Sophia in Jersey. Principal. Antoinette's over there. I see Chris. See Cable. There's Blended. Let's see, who else do we got? There's Faces. And it looks like it's going to be Principal. Okay, so this is David Lynn Prepper, Principal. And this channel is dedicated to being prepared for life's challenges. So we've got some food shorts, which is always fun. And then we've got Hangout, which is coffee talk. Oops. And, oops, that's not what I meant to do. And then occasionally you get a video about a regular kind of peoples. We've got dedications. There's Mountain Man's, Black Widow. So check those out. Check him out. Like, share, comment, and have a good day. And, alright, historian, tell them something interesting. Not that that exists.
No, we're all boring out here.
Very boring.
Very boring. No. For those of you who are, extremely young, back in the 80s, if you got sick, usually your medical kit involves 7-Up and watching game shows on TV at home.
That was never. Of course, I was late 70s, but still, that was never something I did.
Exactly. But anyway, one of the shows that we would usually wind up getting to tune into was a thing called The Price is Right. And for many a generation, it was always a fun little program that started back in 1972 and would last 50 years. Now, the guy that is in mention was the guy who actually was the host, a guy by the name of Bob Barker. And he was born on December the 12th, 1923. He is our choice of the day. Now, interestingly enough, he was born in Darrington, Washington, in modest circumstances. He spent most of his youth, interestingly enough, here in South Dakota on the Rosebud Indian Reservation as a citizen of the Rosebud Sioux tribe. He would joined the United States Navy Reserve during World War II, and worked part-time in radio while attending college. And in 1950, he had moved to California to pursue a broadcasting career. He was given his own radio show, which ran for 6 years, and then he began a game show career in 1956, hosting Truth or Consequences. And then, of course, the big break, The Price is Right, in 1972, 1 year before I was born. But for his life, again, Darrington, Washington, spent most of the years around Mission, South Dakota. It's a nice little town. It has a high school. It's, not huge, but at the same time, it works pretty well. He would appear on the U.S. Indian Census rolls from 1885 to 1940, listed as a citizen. And the tribe would publicly confirm this. His mother, Matilda Valaranda, was a school teacher, and his father, Byron John Baker, was the foreman on the electrical high line through the state of Washington. Now, Barker's father was 1/4 Sioux, and his mother, non-native Barker, was 1/8 Sioux. Now, Barker attended the grade school on the Rosebud Reservation, where his mom would teach. And Barker once said, "I've always bragged about being part Indian because they're a people to be proud of, and the Sioux are the greatest warriors of them all." Well, Barker would run into his future wife, Dorothy Jo Gideon, at a Ella Fitzgerald concert when he was attending high school in Missouri. They began dating when he was 15. Barker would attend Drury College, now University in Springfield, Missouri, on a basketball athletic scholarship. He was a member of the Epsilon Beta chapter of Sigma Nu fraternity at Drury, and Barker would join the United States Navy Reserve 1943 during World War II to train as a fighter pilot. Did not see any time in combat, though. In January 12, 1945, while on leave from the military, Barker would marry Dorothy Jo. After the war, he returned to Drury to finish his education, graduating summa cum laude with a degree in economics. Well, for his broadcasting duties, he was attending the college in Drury. He worked his first media job at KTTS FM radio in Springfield. His wife left Springfield and they moved to Lake Worth Beach, Florida. And Barker was a news editor and announcer for the nearby WWPG 1340 AM in Palm Beach, now the WPBR in Latana. 1950, he moved to California in advance of his broadcasting career. Barker was given his own radio show with a highly creative name, The Bob Barker Show. It actually ran for the next 6 years from Burbank. He was hosting an audience participation radio show with KNX-AM in Los Angeles when game show producer Ralph Edwards, who was looking for a new host to replace Jack Bailey on his daytime television version of his long-running show Truth or Consequences, happened to be listening and liked Barker's voice and style. Well, Truth or Consequences, he started it off in 1956, December 31st. The program would continue until 1975, so there's a little duality there. Barker would, in 1972, would run into Mark Goodson and Bill Todman. They began shopping a modernized revival of The Price is Right with Dennis James as the host. Well, NBC bought the syndicated nighttime version of the show first, with James at the helm. Now, CBS expressed interest in the series, and due to contractual obligations and the fact that James was already viewed as the NBC host, CBS wanted Bob Barker as the daytime host. After some initial resistance, Barker instead offered to host an upcoming CBS game show, Jack Barry's The Joker's Wild, which was another one of my favorites when I was growing up. It had difficulty finding a host, was scheduled to debut at the same day as Price to allow James to host Price, but CBS rejected this proposal. In December of 1974, James stepped in to host the daytime The Price is Right for a week while Barker was ill. James was the only person to substitute on the daytime version of the show while Barker was hosting. In 1977, James' contract was not renewed, and Barker took over as host of the nighttime edition of The Price is Right until its cancellation in 1980. Now, on September 4th, 1972, Barker began hosting the CBS revival of The Price is Right. Now, In October 15th, 1987, Barker did what other MCs almost never did then. He stopped using hair dye and let his hair go gray. I remember when that happened. It was so weird looking. You're like, dude, did you forget to put the dye in or something?
The horror people aging.
Well, on they went, natural color at that time. Now, on October 31st, Halloween 2006, Barker announced that he would retire from The Price is Right in June of 2007. Barker taped that final episode on June 6th, with the show airing twice, on June 15th, once in daytime and once in primetime. On October 15th, 2007, who took over?
Didn't Drew do it for a little bit?
Yep, Drew Carey took over.
And isn't now Wayne doing it?
I don't think so. I think Drew's still doing it.
Is Drew still doing it?
Yeah. Now, after his retirement, Barker made 3 return appearances to The Price is Right. His first appeared on the episode that aired April 16th, 2009, to promote his new autobiography, Priceless Memories. Barker appeared on the showcase round at the end of the show. And then Barker made another guest appearance on the show to celebrate his 90th birthday, which aired on December the 12th, 2013. Barker announced a contestant for the first time ever on the show, along with one showcase. Now, Barker's last appearance was a surprise appearance on April 1st.
April Fool's Day!
2015 for an April Fool's Day switch, where he took Carey's place as the show's intro. Barker hosted the first bid and pricing game that day before handing the hosting duties back to Carey. Barker later appeared during the showcase. Now, off the TV, into the personal features.
There are peoples?
Yep, there's people.
Oh, no.
Again, Barker was married to Dorothy Jo Gideon from 1945 until her death from lung cancer at age 57 in 1981. From 1983 until his death, Barker was a long-term relationship with Nancy Burnett, an admitted radical animal activist nearly 20 years younger than Barker. By mutual decision, Barker and Burnett were never married and lived in separate residences throughout the relationship. Barker had no children with either woman, stating he had seen friends who had poor relationships with their children and felt like he was too busy to properly raise a child. As of 2007, Barker stated that he had no regrets about that decision, and from 2000s onward, Burnett described the relationship as platonic, even though Barker had become more interested in remarrying. She recalled a 2011 incident where Barker drafted a prenuptial agreement for Burnett's lawyer to review and revise as she felt fit, which she refused. Burnett managed Barker's health and diet in retirement. Now, Barker was a vegetarian. In 1982, Barker began ending the Price is Right episodes with the phrase, "This is Bob Barker reminding you to help control the pet population, have your pets spayed or neutered. Sprayed. Here, kitty, Pat." Though Barker had already been dabbling in animal rights before meeting Burnett, his efforts became more aggressive during their relationship. In 1987, Barker requested the removal of fur prizes for the Miss USA pageant and stepped down as host when the producers refused. In 1989, Barker and the United Activists for Animal Rights publicly accused several media projects and the American Humane Association of animal mistreatment and condoning animal mistreatment, a tactic which resulted in a $10 million suit against him and the UAAR for libel, slander, and the invasion of privacy.
Oops.
The suit was finally settled by the insurer in 1994. Now, Barker would found the DJ&T Foundation in 1994, named after his late wife and mother, which he contributed millions of dollars of animal neutering programs and funded animal rescue and park facilities all over the U.S. 2004, Barker donated $1 million, equivalent to 1.6 today, to the Columbia Law School to support the study of animal rights. Now, in 2009, Barker wrote a letter about 3 businesses in Cherokee, North Carolina, asking them to close their bear exhibits. He threatened to not attend the 2009 Game Show Awards, where Barker was to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award because Betty White would be attending.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it says, although Barker had previously worked with White, he was feuding with her over the treatment of an elephant at the Los Angeles Zoo. White instead did not attend and pre-recorded her comments that she was scheduled to make about another awardee, Mark Goodson. That same year, Barker donated $1 million, again 1.4 back in 2021. The dollar went down again, and to the University of Virginia Law School to support the study of animal rights. He made similar donations to the Harvard Law School, Stanford Law School, Georgetown University Law Center, Duke University School of Law, Northwestern University Pritzker School of Law, and the University of California, Los Angeles. The guy likes throwing around money.
Yes, he does. But he has it to throw, so.
Yeah.
At least he's throwing it in good places.
Right. Although I should make myself a college. It'd be study of law. Although, sadly, he's already passed on. Now, 2010, the Sea Shepherd Conservation Society announced that they'd purchased and outfitted a ship to interdict Japanese whaling operations in the Southern Ocean using $5 million that was provided by Barker. The ship, then named My Bob Barker, and its existence,
Really?
yes,
Oh.
and the existence was first revealed when it helped discover the location of the Japanese whaling fleet. Barker participated in several PETA, people eating tasty animals, public service announcements over the years, including one that claimed that vegan diets prevent Alzheimer's disease. In 2010, he donated $2.5 million toward the purchase of office space for the organization in Los Angeles. The Bob Barker Building opened in 2012. Now, in 1980, late 1980s, Barker accused the American Humane Society and the United Activists for Animal Rights for condoning animal cruelty on the set of Project X and several other media projects for the basis of allowing a cattle prod and a gun on set and a rumored beating of a chimpanzee on set.
Oh, wow.
American Humane responded by suing Barker for $10 million, citing libel, slander, and the invasion of privacy. American Humane claimed that there had been a 2-year vendetta against them behind the accusations, and in a series of public advertisements along with a lawsuit, American Humane responded to Barker's claims that his allegations were made based on insufficient and misleading information. Basically, a he said, she said deal. The suit was eventually settled by Barker's insurance company, which paid the American Humane's $300,000. Basically, shut up money.
Right.
And, yeah, don't keep talking. In 1994, the former model Diane Parkinson filed a lawsuit against Barker alleging sexual harassment following a 3-year affair while working on The Price is Right. Parkinson, who alleged that she was extorted by threats of firing, later dropped the lawsuit, claiming the stress from the ordeal was damaging her health. In 1995, model Holly Hallstrom left The Price is Right and later filed suit against Barker, alleging that the reason she was fired was not so much because of her 14-pound medication-mediated weight gain, but because, to Barker's displeasure, she refused to give false information to the media regarding Parkinson's suit, as she alleged Barker had requested she do. Barker countersued for slander, but Hallstrom prevailed, receiving a settlement in 2005. In 2007, October, Deborah Curling, a CBS employee assigned to The Price is Right, filed a lawsuit. People are sue happy.
Right?
I'm sorry. You've got money. We're suing you. Filed a lawsuit against CBS, Bob Barker, and The Price is Right producers, claiming she was forced to quit her job after testifying against Barker in a wrongful termination lawsuit brought by a previous show producer. Curling claimed she was demoted to intolerable work environment backstage, which caused her to leave the job. Curling, who is black, also alleged that the show's producers, including Barker, created a hostile work environment in which black employees and contestants were discriminated against. A few months later, Barker was removed from the lawsuit, and in September 2009, the lawsuit was dismissed. Curling's attorney stated that he planned to appeal the dismissal of the lawsuit, and in January of 2012, the California Court of Appeals affirmed the dismissal.
Basically, they didn't have enough to do anything.
No, they were pretty much stuck up against the wall. Now, on September 16th, 1999, Barker was in Washington, D.C. to testify before Congress regarding proposed legislation that would ban captive elephants from traveling shows such as circuses. While preparing for the presentation, Barker experienced what was called clumsiness in his right hand. Barker was admitted to George Washington University Hospital and diagnosed with a partially blocked left carotid artery. He underwent carotid endarterectomy to remove the blockage. The procedure went well enough that Barker was able to return to work within the month. Well, 3 years later, Barker had 2 additional health crises after taping the 30th season finale of The Price is Right. While lying in the sun on May 30th, 2002, he experienced a stroke.
Oh, dear.
And was hospitalized, and 6 weeks later, on July 11th, Barker underwent prostate surgery. Both hospitalizations occurred at the George Washington University Hospital in Washington, and both surgeries were successful. I'm sorry. If you're going to a university hospital, I mean, this is where they teach.
That's why they call it a practice, sweetheart.
I know, but it still bugs the heck out of me. Are we practicing on this guy? Well, he's rich.
Honestly, I think I'd rather go to a teaching hospital because they're going to do their very best because
Right.
they want to move up.
Right.
Where somebody who has already gotten a license isn't going to be because they've already got it. Think of all the doctors who've lost their license after years of having it because they got careless.
You just hope that the guy that's working on you didn't cheat on his test.
Well,
Now Barker
that's why they're supervised.
Exactly. Now Barker had several mild bouts with skin cancer, a result of frequent tanning. Barker consulted a dermatologist regularly to make sure any cancers were caught and removed before they spread. They did not pose a threat to his life, and during a televised interview, Barker told viewers, "I urge anyone who has spent some time in the sun, whether you're doing it now or not, go to a dermatologist once a year." On October 20th, 2015, 2 police officers passing Barker's Los Angeles area home saw him trip and fall on a sidewalk.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, they called an ambulance, which took him to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where Barker received stitches for an injured forehead and was released. He also had hurt his left knee.
Oh, dear.
Barker also slipped and hit his head at home on July 19th, 2017, as maid drove him to the emergency room where Barker was checked and released. His representative says it was not as serious as earlier, and in October and November of 2018, Barker was rushed to the hospital for severe back pain.
Oh, dear.
Barker suffered another fall in January 2019, but he was not hospitalized. The guy is playing bad with gravity.
Right? Gravity does not like him.
Yeah. Barker's last public interview was with People in August of 2021, in which he discussed The Price is Right's upcoming 50th season on the air. As of 2022, Burnett stated that other than some non-prescription supplements such as collagen and a meal replacement drink to replenish nutrients not found naturally in Barker's vegetarian diet, he only took 1 prescription medication for hyperthyroidism. On August 26, 2023, 108 days short of his 100th birthday, Barker died at his home in Los Angeles at the age of 99.
So close.
Just missed it. Just a little
close.
short. Following several years with Alzheimer's disease, a condition that Burnett and Barker publicity team had kept hidden from the public. Hypertension, hyperlipidemia, and hyperthyroidism were listed as secondary causes of the death, and Barker was interred along with his wife at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills. Now, interestingly enough, he also appeared on Bonanza, playing a character named Mort in the 1960 episode Denver McGee. He was a semi-regular panelist on the game show Tattletales, and with wife Dorothy Jo in Match Game. Barker sat in Richard Dawson's former place during the first week of Dawson's permanent absence from Match Game. And in the 1970s, he was the host of the biannually Pillsbury Bake Off. The Bake Off occurred every 2 years, starting in 1976. And in 1978, he was the first host to have a male category champ. Now, Barker co-hosted CBS's coverage of the Rose Parade from Pasadena, California for several years during the 70s and 80s. Barker also appeared in various talk shows, Dinah, Larry King Live, The Arsenio Hall Show, Crook and Chase, Donnie and Marie, The Rosie O'Donnell Show, The Ellen DeGeneres Show, The Wayne Brady Show, The Late Show with David Letterman, and The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson. He would also make cameo appearances on The Nanny, The Bold and the Beautiful, respectively, in 1994 and 2002. And here's where everybody has a fun time. In 1996, Barker played himself in Adam Sandler's comedy Happy Gilmore. In one scene, Barker beats up Gilmore after an altercation arising from their teaming up at a Pro-Am golf tournament. According to Sandler, the original choice for that scene was Ed McMahon, but Sandler said that McMahon was not fond of the script and they got Barker because of Chuck Norris training Barker in martial arts. 2007, during a CBS primetime special commemorating Barker's career, the fight scene from Happy Gilmore was shown, after which Sandler made a surprise appearance on stage to read a poem paying tribute to Barker. In 2015, during Comedy Central's Night of Too Many Stars benefit, the show to battle autism, Barker and Sandler reunited for a video featuring the two of them in a follow-up fight at the hospital, which ends with both of them dying and going to heaven. That's very weird. About 1 year after the retirement from The Price is Right, Barker also appeared in a public service announcement promoting the transition to digital television in the United States. The advertisement digital was produced under the first proposed date of February 16th, 2009 for the transition. On September 7th, 2009, Barker was a special guest host for WWE Raw, called The Price is Raw, in Rosemont, Illinois. Aired during a period when nearly every episode of the weekly wrestling show featured a celebrity guest host with mixed results. Barker's appearance had been ranked the best of nearly 80 hosts.
Ouch.
Now, Barker agreed to be the rotating guest co-host on The Huckabee Show, a daily talk show hosted by Mike Huckabee. Barker first appeared on the show on July 29, 2010. Barker also appeared in a commercial for State Farm Insurance's Magic Jingle campaign, where he made a new car appear for a woman whose previous car was totaled by a giant concrete cylinder. Barker filmed a TV advertisement endorsing David Jolly, a candidate for the Republican Party nomination in 2014 Florida's 13th Congressional District special election. Jolly won the nomination and ultimately won the seat. Now, SpongeBob. Barker voiced the character Bob Barnacle, a snail business owner in Sanctuary, an episode of Nickelodeon's animated series, SpongeBob SquarePants. Barker was honored after his death with an hour-long TV special celebrating his life. It aired on August 31st, 2023. He also appeared on the show Futurama, acting as himself. Now, give you a pretty good idea exactly, how big a Bob Barker was. He won daytime Emmys 19 times. He was a 14-time winner of the Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Game Show Host, The Price is Right, a 4-time winner of the Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Game Show as executive producer for The Price is Right, and he also won a Lifetime Achievement Award presented at the 1999 Daytime Emmy Awards. He won the Slammy for his WWE work in 2009. Bob Barker's studio at CBS Television City is named in his honor. Time magazine named him the greatest game show host of all time, and the Game Show Network also gave him a Lifetime Achievement Award. He is in the Halls of Fame with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, the Television Hall of Fame, and the NAB Broadcasting Hall of Fame in class of 2008. Barker's autobiography, Priceless Memories, written with former Los Angeles Times book review editor Digby Deal, was published in 2009 on April 6th. But, for a guy from humble beginnings to being in 3 different halls of fame, he was one heck of a host with a lot of information and did a lot of good. And we'll miss you, Bob. You have a good one. This has been The Bearded Historian.
And the price was wrong.